can't stop it. They can't win it. Alabama wins the ball game.
Derek Thomas, linebacker, Alabama.
He was a nightmare for people that had to try to prepare for him because he had unique skills.
Just go get the quarterback. I felt sorry for some of those poor tackles that came in and had to go against him because they didn't realize what they were getting themselves into.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun. Woo! Woo!
Son, I gotta do better than this.
Lights out.
Sacking the cornerback is just like you devastate a city, or you cream a multitude of people. I mean, it's just like you put all the offensive players in one bag, and I just take a baseball bat and beat on the bag. So each time he came over there, I tried to tear his damn head off.
Let's play some football. Let's play some football.
The pressure is on. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Focus on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Think about that. Don't think about how you feel, how tired you are, how hot it is. You got to push yourself on the field like when you're playing football.
It's my honor to present the national championship trophy to Coach Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
To me, this is the ultimate team. All these guys bought into everything they needed to do to be the best players that they could be. There's more togetherness on this team than almost any team that we've ever had. And they had to overcome and persevere so much adversity through this season, and they've done it magnificently. And I'm so proud of this group for what they've been able to accomplish and going undefeated and winning the national championship.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the Tide 100.9 app. Here is your host of Off the Edge, Jacob Harrison.
Hello there, welcome into Off the Edge. I am your host, Jacob Harrison. Got a new little setup in here. Got to give props to my man Tommy Paradise, who is going to be manning the controls tonight, producing Off the Edge. That allows me to get into this nice comfy studio, open up the window, and feel good. Got intern Clayton, I believe that was Katie in there with us as well. Yes, joining us as they just finished up Tide tonight, did an excellent job. Great job, guys. So, got a lot to get into, but first of all, I do want to welcome you into the show. And if you are joining us on a live stream, you are the best, because the live stream is the absolute best way to take in the show, because it's the way that you can interact with the show the easiest. I encourage you to go to @OffTheEdge109 on Facebook or Twitter to enjoy the live stream of the show. I've got a new fancy little chat function, so if you want to discuss anything Alabama Crimson Tide sports related or professional otherwise, you're completely free to, and I will see it instantly. New little feature, we're making upgrades every single day here on Off the Edge, but @OffTheEdge109 is the handle to join us on there, and you can enjoy the live stream and the chat functions. I strongly encourage you to head on over to the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and like the videos there and hang out with us there. Because once these shows are done, what I do when I get home from work every day is I go home and I clip the best segments out of each show and provide them to you. So you get 9 or 10 minute, 8 minute short little segments of each show that you can consume rather quickly and enjoy that way as well. And if you do miss a show, you can certainly catch up on the live stream there on YouTube, or you can go to the podcast center on Tide109.com and enjoy the show there as well. So, first of all, Alabama softball, 6-3 victory over Liberty. Props to them. continue the winning. Guys, I was in the car frantically running through Walmart to get this little speaker. Apparently, the only place in the world that you can find a speaker that still has an auxiliary cord is at Walmart, and it's still $20, even though all the Bluetooth stuff is like $40 and $50. And Bluetooth would do me no good in here. Yeah. So please enlighten me. What was the going-ons of the Alabama baseball home opener?
Overall, it was pretty good. I want to say about the 6th inning when it was run through the backups. Thank you, Tyler. That's when it kind of started to, because it's the backup, it's cold. You're not throwing the ball enough. I mean, overall, 10-6 is not a bad score. It looks bad when you look at the score itself, but if you peel back the curtain, there were a lot of errors, I want to say, too, that kind of gave McNeese State some free runs. And that's never what you want in baseball, is free runs, unless you're the home team, which in that case, hey, free runs, might as well take them over.
Absolutely. But still, 1-0 to start in the Joe. That's a good way, no matter what, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, we'll take what we can.
Call them,
Yeah, and after the way that the Alabama baseball team started last year under Coach Brad Bohannon, things are on the up and up. And as we discussed on Monday, and as every show throughout the week has talked about, Alabama sports itself is on the up and up. And whether you want to praise the coaches or the players or athletic director Greg Byrne, that's something to feel good about, I think. And the whole, we're a football school, we're no basketball school, we're an everything school. And that's what you want. I mean, a lot of people come to Alabama simply because of the football program. And that's completely fair. That's completely understandable. I did so in a similar vein. Being a sports broadcaster, I wanted to go somewhere where I could cover a important sport. When I was at Troy, it was a little bit more difficult to get hyped up because as much as I love Troy, it's still just Troy. You're playing to go to the New Orleans Bowls. Like, that's the peak of Trojan football. But here at Alabama, it's all about national championships. And now it's all about national championships in every single sport. And that's something to truly admire. Guys, I was perusing the old Twitter before I headed on over to Walmart to completely lose my mind because nobody was moving as fast as I was trying to get here in time. To set everything up because it's a bit of a hassle to set up all the wires and everything. We're still learning how to get all that done, plus moving into the studio. I was perusing the old Twitter, and I saw Drew Brees trending on Twitter. And I thought, oh, he finally did it. He finally retired. Let's go see his retirement speech. Let's see the tears. Let's bask in what was one of the greatest quarterback careers we've ever seen come through the NFL. He's the only man to ever throw for 80,000 yards in the NFL. That's dumb. Guys, when Dan Marino threw for 49,000 yards and 420 touchdowns, that was ridiculous at the time. And now all these years later, Drew Brees threw for 30,000 yards more, only won one more Super Bowl than Dan Marino. But at the end of the day, he still had one of those careers that you just couldn't help but to enjoy. But he wasn't trending on Twitter because he had retired. He was trending because there was just an influx of memes speculating that he is not going to retire. Despite recent news saying that Drew Brees should announce his retirement within the next day to 2, maybe 3 days. No. Just a ton of memes. The old Skip Bayless. It's my turn. It's my turn. You stop. You had it. It's my turn.
Shouldn't we just take his turn away?
You should. But do you give that turn to Jameis Winston because that's who's playing the role of Skip Bayless right there?
If you want my opinion, I said it on Title Talk. I want to say Tuesday. Are we really going to trust Jameis Winston? It's nothing against Jameis Winston, but if you go to Tampa Bay as the first-round pick and you have 5 years to get it working and figure it out with Mike Evans, who is a very good quality receiver, and you can't get it done, I mean, you got Michael Thomas, who runs a lot of slants.
Spoken like a true Falcons fan.
Thank you. I'm allowed to say that. But
it's the truth.
You have to take the Falcons' glasses off. I told Stephanie Otalora that if she wants the Saints to get Mac Jones, The Saints have got to start trading. They have cap problems. This is the perfect time to find a dance partner. Someone is willing to tango. I know they are.
But if you're the Saints, similar to my Pittsburgh Steelers, you're dealing with a situation where a guy's legacy outweighs the current situation of the franchise. And that's where I can sympathize with Saints fans, because just as there are a ton of Saints fans that want Mac Jones in New Orleans, there are also a ton of Steelers fans, myself included. Not quite as many Saints fans, I'll be honest. But there are still a ton of Steelers fans that also want to see Mac Jones in Pittsburgh. The problem is both of these teams now, and specifically with the Saints, because the Saints have a much more understandable situation behind Drew Brees than the Steelers do. And also, I should just try not to talk about the Steelers all the time. But the Saints, they've got this situation where they've got an all-timer, one of the greatest of all time, and a guy who looked pretty bad last year but had a lot of injuries to excuse those problems. And if he wants to come back for one more year, how do you look him in the face and how do you tell him no? You can't tell him no, we've got Jameis Winston. Or no, we've got Taysom Hill. We saw both of those experiments. We saw, as you mentioned, Tommy, we saw Jameis Winston all this time in Tampa Bay do next to nothing except struggle to see downfield. And Taysom Hill took over for a few games this year, and he struggled to beat a Broncos team that didn't have a quarterback at all. That's a serious, serious problem in New Orleans. So whether or not Drew Brees does retire, and I'm one of those, I feel like it's time to move on. I feel the same way about Ben Roethlisberger in a lot of ways. But I respect it if he decides to come back. Because at the end of the day, he's an all-timer. And those guys should get to do what they feel is right for them and not be pushed out the door. It's difficult when you've spent nearly your entire career, or in Ben Roethlisberger's case, your entire career with an entire team. But I think back to when Troy Polamalu was forced to retire from the Steelers and how heartbreaking that was. Because all he did was barely lose a step. But because of the way he played, and he barely lost that step, it meant he could no longer play the game of football at a professional level. And with Drew Brees, the amount that he has lost as far as his arm strength goes makes it difficult for him to take advantage of what has always been his strength. And that is an excellent, accurate deep ball. So now, if you're Drew Brees, do you come back similar to what Ben Roethlisberger kind of plans to do? You come back with a depleted roster that cannot upgrade this offseason and go into a situation where basically what you're doing is what happens in other sports and does not happen very often in football, and that's a retirement tour, where the outcome of the game doesn't matter. It's just one more opportunity to take a lap, play safely, play for fun, and get out. And I don't know how comfortable I am with that at the NFL.
But the problem here is that we mentioned Taysom Hill and how he had to take over because Drew Brees was hurt. And Drew Brees was hurt pretty bad. I don't remember the exact amount of injuries, but it wasn't like, he
had like 11 broken ribs.
Yeah, his ribs were broken. We're all human. Like, you gotta say, and I'm not saying Drew Brees retire. I want him to do what's best for him, obviously, regardless of what team I cheer for. But you got wife, you got kids, and getting hit in football takes time. You've played it, so you know how it is. It's not like you can just get up from every hit.
And speaking of the broken ribs, and you mentioning that I played it, I got crackbacked in a JV game one time, and a guy put his helmet right on my sternum and knocked the wind out of me. And I'll never forget the look of terror on the Fairhope Pirates bench as I rolled over and this grudge sound came out from the depths of my chest. And as much as that hurt, because I ended up with a bruised sternum there, and that's not nearly even close to the same situation, but a bruised sternum hurts like hell. One broken rib, so I've been told, hurts like hell. One cracked rib, let alone, hurts like hell and makes it difficult to breathe. And Drew Brees was still kind of out there with a couple of broken ribs. So you have to give it up to Drew Brees for the amount of toughness that he's shown in the NFL. He's been one of the true Iron Men as well. Again, guys, want to encourage you, if you're on the streams, chat it up. Ask questions. We're going to dive into a lot of subjects tonight. I thought the whole Drew Brees situation was very intriguing. When we come back, I'm going to tease something that I have planned for this show, but it requires some effort on the listener's part. And believe me, you want to go through on this effort. And Tommy Paradise, guys, you're going to have to glue him to the chair. I'm just letting you know he might do a backflip because this is going to be very, very exciting. We've also got some Bama hoops. We're going to call out the NCAA and call them what we all know they are, and that's dumb. D-U-M. Jalen Hurts. We're going to set the record straight on Najee Harris and what his potential actually is in the NFL. All that and more right here on Off the Edge. I'm Jacob Harrison. Thank you for joining us. But before I go, Tommy, I'm sorry to do this to you. I do have to mention Alabama Vintage. Charlie, see you there in the comments there. Let's go indeed. Everybody, let's go to Alabama Vintage in the morning. And let's go pick out some excellent vintage gear. Whether you want a hat, a t-shirt, a sweater, a Letterman jacket, some shoes, or you just need some decorations for that new place of yours, head on over and see Charlie at Alabama Vintage, 2210 University Boulevard. Under the Crimson awning, go check them out. You'll be glad you did. We'll be right back right after this on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Before you roll in to watch the Tide, roll into Mary's Travel Center, just off I-59 to exit 86 in Brookwood. They have all the...
I'm going to go get a snack from the vending machine because I haven't eaten all day. I'll be right back.
Step next door to Subway or to the Huddle House and eat before or after the game. Before you leave for the game, be sure and fill your tank with Marathon Gas. Mary's Travel Center, just off I-59 at exit 86 in Brookwood. Locally owned by the Gibson family. Mary's Travel Center says roll Tide. Let Spa Bella Vie pamper you with the ultimate spa experience combined with exceptional relaxation, complete privacy, and comfortable luxury. Their spa services rejuvenate and reveal your inner glow, including facials, massages, waxing, peels, scrubs, and wraps, nails, hair, and makeup. Call 349-0046 to book your appointment for your ultimate spa experience at Spa Bella Vie. Locally owned by board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Ross Bunch in the Falls at North River. Online at SpaBellaVie.com.
Improve your appearance and boost your self-confidence with the help of board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Ross Bunch at Plastic Surgery of Tuscaloosa. They deliver cutting-edge reparative and rejuvenation procedures and a warm, caring, patient-first atmosphere. Plastic Surgery of Tuscaloosa offers breast reconstruction, smart lipo, neck lifts, Brazilian butt lifts, rhinoplasty, toe sculpting, and more. Call 349-0049 or stop by Plastic Surgery of Tuscaloosa in the Falls at North River. Online at plasticsurgeryoftuscaloosa.com.
Hello, this is Rick Crawford with Crawford Insurance. In the past, we've always been known for having real low car insurance rates. Now we would like to help you with all your personal insurance needs, auto, home, and life. We're able to shop through several insurance companies to find the right coverage at the lowest prices. Call us today at 205-752-69. Now we would like to help you with all 602 Skyland Boulevard East, right next to Pizza Hut. You can also visit our website at CrawfordAutoInsurance.com where you can get a quote, pay your insurance, or even start a policy online. We look forward to hearing from you.
Impress your family and friends for your big game party when you use kitchen equipment from Sanford Restaurant Equipment. They have electric and propane grills, fryers, and butane burners, large pots, chafing dishes, and disposable chafers to keep your food warm. All types of utensils including tongs, turners, meat tenderizers, beverage dispensers, and a huge selection of bar supplies. Make your big game party a breeze with kitchen equipment from Sanford Restaurant Equipment, just off Bridge Avenue before Dreamland and Northport.
It begins before we are even born. It is with us until the day we take our last breath. So when it comes to matters of the heart, it is best to leave it to those who know how to keep that beat going.
Cardiology Consultants has provided West Alabama the highest quality, state-of-the-art cardiovascular services. Dr. William Hill, Jeffrey Anderson, and Lewis, Amit Shah, Edward Caraway, and Brad Proctor, all board certified. 205-752-0694.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota subcompact and compact tractors. Our reliable #1 selling tractors are designed for easy operation and feature all the performance match attachments needed to tackle any job. Right now, get 0 down and 0% for 84 months and save up to $1,700. Plus no payments for 90 days. Now through October 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer. Tuscaloosa Tractor. Don't you buy no ugly tractor. Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
Hello there, and welcome back into Off the Edge. YouTube, I hope you appreciate me using uncopyrighted songs this week so that I don't have to go through and wait for you to mute all this music again. But I'm so glad that you're joining us. I hope that you are enjoying the live stream. If you are, be sure to interact with us on there and have some fun this evening. So what we are going to do is I'm going to turn on the live camera. First of all, hey, there you go. How you doing? And then we are going to do this awesome thing that I cannot wait to get to do this. And Tommy, I think you're going to love this. Well, I mentioned you because there were a handful of people around here that got very, very excited when the news broke that EA Sports would be bringing back college football video games. Now, while that is awesome, we do still have to deal with the fact that it's going to be a few years. There's nothing we can do about it. We got to wait a few years before we finally get whatever EA Sports college football is. And even know what year it is. And what it will look like. How will they have affected Dynasty Mode? How will Road to Glory even make a return? Are they going to oversell it with Ultimate Team? Are they going to be able to get the NIL license? And we're going to discuss NIL later in the show just as well. But you know, NCAA 14 is still alive. It is very much still alive. I still play it today. I play it now on my PC with something that is called the College Football Revamped mod. And what that did is basically update the graphics. It looks very, very nice now. They've updated some of the uniforms and the way the logos look, some playbook things, and overall they've done an incredible job. They've added in some of the schools that have joined the FCS level, and they've also updated the rosters. Now, the other night I tweeted out, you know, let's do this thing. Let's get on Twitch with Off the Edge, and let's stream NCAA Football 14 and have some fun. Let's go win some natties with Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide digitally. I knew you would like that, Tom. Now here's the thing. Absolutely. You're always welcome to chime in and say silly stuff. But here's what we need to do though. Is we're brand new. Follower count's a little low here on the Off the Edge old Twitter account. So what we need to do is get Off the Edge to 250 followers. That's all we got to do. Now look, we're sitting at a cool, I think about 40 right now. So yeah, that's a lot of followers. But you're going to enjoy this content. And this is what I'm talking about. This is how we're going to bridge the gap. This is how we're going to bring fan bases together. Because at the very least, those that didn't understand on the Gary Harris show why Tommy and me and Hayden, why we lost our minds and why we completely disrupted the show when that news broke. Why we were so excited about this and why it matters so much. And also, streaming is such a massive thing right now, especially for younger audiences. And I just think that what's sorely lacking right now is an Alabama Crimson Tide dynasty. Nobody wants to do that. You know, nobody wants to be Alabama in NCAA. Everybody wants to be a weaker team and build them up, go win 12 natties with South Alabama, and that's fine. That's all well and good. But let's enjoy being Crimson Tide fans. Let's go dominate everything in NCAA 14. So just go on ahead, head over to Twitter, and follow Off the Edge 100.9 on Twitter, and we will get this thing rolling. I've already got the dynasty set up. I've already tested a few things. I've got the Twitch account set up. All you've got to do is go hit that follow button at Off the Edge 109 and get us to 250, and we will make this thing a reality. We will stream every Wednesday night and enjoy winning national championships in NCAA 14. So now to some real business. Something that I really want to get into is Alabama Crimson Tide basketball. Nate Oates gets his extension Thursday, and on Monday I enjoyed talking about how incredible Nate Oates has been for this program, how he has completely flipped it upside down and sent this thing into a stratosphere that we had only hoped he could do within 4 or 5 years' time. And instead, he's done it in 2. He has this team looking at a number 2 seed according to the latest projections by Joe Lunardi in bracketology. He's 2 wins away from having this basketball team secure an SEC regular season championship, something they have not done since 2002. A lot of our interns weren't even born yet, guys. Like that's incredible. And now he's got guys like J.D. Davison coming in. He has developed guys like Herb Jones into NBA star capable players, I believe. John Petty is the greatest three-point player of all time, and I believe wholeheartedly that had he played this long under Avery Johnson, and this isn't a disrespect thing with Avery Johnson, it's just the different styles they play, I'm not so sure that John Petty would be on the leaderboards the way that he is in three-point shooting. So with Nate Oates, I'm so glad that he got this extension, that he's going to be with the team through 2027. Brings his salary up to $3.225 million a year, which would makes him more. That makes his salary more than, I want to say, all but about 25 NCAA football coaches, D1. So that is quite an accomplishment, and it just speaks to how incredible he has been on this run at Alabama. This Saturday, tomorrow at noon, Alabama will travel up to Nashville and take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt is 6-11. They are not a very good basketball team by any stretch of the means, but this is one of those games where you have to win games that are expected of you to win. You have to go in, you have to dominate. You cannot have another Missouri game on your hands. And I don't expect that to happen. I expect fully that we will see Alabama go out there and take care of business and not necessarily light them up. I'm not saying they're going to beat them by 50. I'm not saying that by any means. But go out there and take care of business. Do what you know you're capable of doing. Go out there and win the basketball game and be one step closer to securing that regular season national championship. Now, once you get on the other side of that, you've got Arkansas, who is second in the SEC right now. Mississippi State, about middle of the pack, higher up than that. And then Auburn for senior night. And that is a true senior night because only seniors will be in attendance that night. And I've got some feelings on that. And we're going to touch on that on the other side of the break. I'm Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9. We'll be right back right after this. Hello there, welcome back into Off the Edge. I'm Jacob Harrison, joining you tonight on a cool, windy Friday night. I hope you're having a great night. So in the previous segment, we were talking about how Alabama basketball and how Nate Oates has completely turned this program upside down and on its head. And I want to encourage you, head on over to the YouTube page. You can check out what we said on Monday concerning Nate Oates and how he did that. It's one of those features of the YouTube channel. You go over there, you hit subscribe, and you will get these videos sent to you, or at least pop up on your homepage on YouTube, and you can check out our content in little bite-sized pieces for you to enjoy. And that Nate Oates segment from Monday night is one of those. But I ended the segment by talking about how this Auburn game to close the season at home in Coleman Coliseum will be a senior night. Now, normally, throughout this pandemic, I have been very forgiving of anybody in a position of power to have to try to appease everybody and make them feel included and catered to. It's very difficult in a situation where close contact is what's dangerous. So I understand why so many stadiums have been practically or completely empty. I understand why Coleman Coliseum has been nearly empty. I get it. Do I think that you could fit more people in there? Absolutely. I've been in there just as many other people have. There's still space. I promise you. There's still space to be safe. I promise you. However, it is absolutely ridiculous that it took this long and that it took ending the season to have a specific night for a group of students to be able to go enjoy a game. Yay, props, good job. I'm glad you did it. You're on top of things now. And I understand it's difficult to make even this sort of decision and to do it on this night. But the team deserved better and the students deserve better. You could have very well had an all-freshman night, an all-sophomore night, an all-junior night, an all-senior night. Should have had more than one all-senior night, if you're asking me. Because there are entirely way too many students that wanted to go to basketball games this year and simply could not because of the luck of the draw. And that's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And it's shameful. When you could have done the exact same thing. The only person that deserved a pass from that is Luke Ratliff and his boys that can teach freshmen and sophomores how to get it done in Coleman Coliseum. Now, maybe that's favoritism, I don't care. But this is part of building a basketball program, is having fans in attendance. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous that it took this long to get it done. Point blank and simple. That said, the Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team has found a way to overcome through all of this and come out looking pretty. A number 2 seed as projected by Joe Lunardi in the latest bracketology. So at the very least, we've been able to watch them. We've been able to hear Chris Stewart on the radio call their games. And we've got to enjoy a great basketball season. However, it could have been better. And I know hindsight is what it is. And that's almost not fair to the people in charge of making these decisions. I just felt like it could have been handled a lot better. And it's a shame. Because at the end of the day, we are on the back end of this. And at some point, you've got to start being more lenient, I think. Did you see J.D. Davison? Did you see this guy put up 32 points, 11 boards, 11 assists, and 8 steals? Almost has a quadruple double. Man, a lot can... He's going to be in crimson and white next year. In crimson and white. Sure, probably only for 1 year. This guy is headed to the NBA. Would probably skip if given the chance. Nate Oates is not done, ladies and gentlemen. He is not done. But speaking about one year, because first of all, it's a dumb rule. And it's an NBA rule, but it's a dumb rule. But you know who else makes dumb rules? It's the NCAA. And how I'm talking about how the people that determine how full Coleman Coliseum is, whoever decided that 25% capacity at March Madness was going to be a thing, and that 25% was going to include the players, coaches, the staffs, everybody, they're a fool. Yeah, 25%. It sounded good, didn't it? The 25% capacity will apply to each round of the tournament and will be made up of all participants, including essential staff, family members of each team competing, coaches, players, and a reduced amount of fans. So basically, what the NCAA did today was throw out a pretty number, 25%. Because some of these games are going to be played in Lucas Oil Stadium. And even with 2 courts on the field, that's still a lot of fans at 25%. You can feel pretty good about that until you consider how much is being subtracted from that. Now, yeah, it's basketball. The staffs aren't quite as big as football. So you're still going to be able to have an okay amount of fans. But this is a slap in the face again. You're telling me that even after all this time, and with the spaciousness that is Lucas Oil Stadium, I mean, people just want to go. I've seen countless photos of people at these tournament games that are up in the nosebleeds and can barely see the players through their cameras, and they're just there to enjoy it. That's what March Madness is. It's the only thing that rivals any other sort of football-related content. And yet here is the NCAA once again shooting itself in the foot by creating something that seems good, but in reality is nothing but a hindrance. And again, we are left wanting more from the NCAA. The name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal, the way that these things are being handled, and the way that they're just being put on the back burner, instead of somebody standing up and making a decision. Again, from the NCAA, we are left wanting more. Whether or not the NIL is passed, whether or not that becomes a state by state problem, is completely up to the NCAA. Why is the NCAA allowing for the government to step in on this? It's because they're lazy and they don't want to make a decision. And you know, yesterday a video surfaced of Derrick Henry on Barstool, and Barstool was poking fun at him, saying, you know, well, how much did Alabama pay you? What did that bank account look like? What kind of house did you have? What kind of car did you drive? And you know, Derrick Henry, you know, he didn't take it as disrespectful. He played along. He joked. He said, I got paid in rings. I got paid with a Heisman and with the Maxwell. Fine. Whatever happened between Derrick Henry and all that sort of stuff, first of all, not our business. Second of all, it doesn't matter, because if anything to that degree happened, everybody does it. Some people are more egregious about it. Some people do it in McDonald's bads, but everybody does it. And that might suck in reality to even think about. But at the end of the day, the NCAA has handled name, image, and likeness by basically saying, we know that the speed limit is 35, but everybody goes 55, so we just let them do it anyway. We don't care that the kids played in the street when they got home, and you know that there's a McDonald's drive-through right there and somebody could get sideswiped. We don't care. Everybody already drives 55. Let's just let them do it. And that's not responsible at all. And that's where you create a problem where Henry To'oTo'o doesn't know what he's going to be doing from day to day. He has no idea. Everything is left up to the NCAA in his situation, based off the advice that he's been given and that has been reported. If the NCAA does make a decision, then they say you can play next year. Go play with Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. If not, just go play another year, suffer the Tennessee Vols program, and go to the NFL and let it be done. But instead, Henry To'oTo'o could have a decision made already and know what he's going to be doing. Or how about Dylan Brooks and the Tennessee Vols? Man, Tennessee sucks, by the way. God, that is an awful program. Play it. No! I mean, you should have put rat poison in those McDonald's bags. They're not going to be relevant for another 5-10 years. Okay? And that's their problem. But why should Dylan Brooks be subjugated to the Tennessee Vols' new staff saying, sure, we'll let you out of your NIL, but you can't go sign with another SEC school? First of all, what? What are they going to do to Dylan Brooks? Are they going to sue him? What really prevents Dylan Brooks, once he is out from under his national letter of intent, once he is out from under that, what prevents him from going wherever he pleases? What stops him? What keeps him from being Dylan Brooks, the Alabama Crimson Tide linebacker? Or Dylan Brooks, the, Georgia linebacker? Tennessee saying so? What authority do they have? And, nobody questions this because the NCAA is not going to step in and say anything. The NCAA doesn't care what Tennessee does to Dylan Brooks if Dylan Brooks decides to go back on that and go play for another SEC schools. Because the NCAA has no power in any of these situations. They are useless and worthless, and they're incapable of making decisions. They're incapable of managing what they have created. And what they have created is 130 teams worth of chaos, and that's only in college football. That doesn't count the hundreds of other teams in small ball basketball that are still considered D1. It's pitiful. The NCAA is dumb. It is broken, and it makes it difficult to be a fan of any of their content because you know that deep down they have taken advantage of these players for over a century, and things have only gotten worse. And even where they've shown the leniency in turning a blind eye to the things that happen between boosters and players all across the country, they choose not to fix these situations. And they choose to take things out on people that don't deserve it. They choose to take it out on a kid that moves cross country because his grandfather is dying and he wants to play closer to home and be closer to his family so that he can. They take it out on a player whose brother, who's in the NFL, buys his books for him. That's what the NCAA does. The NCAA doesn't care if Justin Fields goes from Georgia to Ohio State and plays in 1 year. The NCAA does not care if JT Daniels goes from USC to Georgia and plays within a year. They don't care about that because they care about what the product is on television. They care about making ESPN happy, and that's understandable because if you make ESPN happy, you make the fans happy. But they don't dare make a decision on anything that matters. And every time they do, they make a bad decision that they end up having to undo. Remember when they gave Penn State the death penalty? Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to recall that situation because it was awful. And Penn State deserved to be punished. But they didn't stay punished. And it was because the NCAA had no way of punishing the people at fault. Without punishing the people that were there and had nothing to do with it. Yeah, Joe Paul had to retire. They took care of Sandusky and a lot of other people that were involved. But they still gave our now offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, at the time, something that was nearly impossible to work with. And if there's one thing to feel positive about with Bill O'Brien is that he was able to work with something there. But it's one thing after another with the NCAA that they fail to fix, that they fail to improve upon. For something to have existed for as long as it has, and to claim to be a nonprofit, and to completely take advantage of every student athlete that walks through, who is just happy to be where they are in life. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No matter where they are, they're just happy to be on the field doing what they love to do. And they're willing to take all the bull crap from the NCAA. At least most are. And the NCAA does nothing about it, and it's shameful. Of course, all I can do is complain about it. I can't fix anything about it. But it's something worth thinking about, at the very least. We'll be right back. I'm Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge. I encourage you, go to @109.com, @OffTheEdge109 on Twitter and Facebook. Like the streams, share them with your friends. On the other side, we're going to talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts. We won't get into the full discussion, but we'll set it up for the next hour as we're running a little low on time here. But I assure you, go check out the stream on YouTube as well. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like and hit that little bell icon and enjoy Off the Edge every Monday and Friday from 7 to 9 right here on Tide 100.9. We'll be right back with more Off the Edge. Hello there, welcome back into Off the Edge. We've only got a few minutes in this segment, so we're going to make it brief, and we will discuss the remainder of it on the other side of the hour. But Jalen Hurts is now going to be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Presumably, the Philadelphia Eagles do hold the 6th overall selection in this year's draft. However, this all comes about because Carson Wentz is officially no longer a Philadelphia Eagle himself. Carson Wentz has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2021 third-round pick and a 2022 conditional second-round pick for the Eagles that could potentially turn into a first-round pick should Carson Wentz either start 75% of the games or 70% of the games and the team at least make the playoffs. So this is where we get into the Jalen Hurts situation. What do the Eagles do? I've seen several mocks that have projected that the Eagles should take a quarterback. A lot of these come from people that never believed in Jalen Hurts, to be honest. A lot of people that think that his accuracy issues are just too much to overcome, and that's a fair understanding. I'm somebody that believes that the accuracy is the most vital attribute a quarterback can have, much more so than arm strength or maneuverability and all that sort of nonsense. That's why I like Mac Jones so much. But with Jalen, you've seen a steady progress that nobody can deny. Even his biggest haters cannot deny that there's been a steady progress as far as his abilities as a passer. So do you go get him a wide receiver? If Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, those kind of guys are still sitting there, and you can pick up that number one wide receiver that Philadelphia definitely needs, Deshaun Jackson announced that he will be released from the Philadelphia Eagles. Alshon Jeffrey will probably not be far behind. That really only leaves the team with Greg Ward and Jalen Reagor, who has so far been a very disappointing first-round pick from a year ago. Probably shouldn't have been a first-round pick. But regardless, or you can go get Penei Sewell. Go get an offensive lineman and feel like you can protect Jalen Hurts a little bit better. Regardless, I'm curious as to what your opinions are. Go on over to @OffTheEdge on Twitter, @OffTheEdge109, and check out that poll that I just posted. Simple, yes or no. Will Jalen Hurts be successful in Philadelphia now that Carson Wentz is headed to Indianapolis? I think he can. And I want to get into those specific reasons why. But first, I will throw it over to you, Tommy, just real quick. What do you think? Do you think Jalen Hurts will be successful in Philadelphia now? He started 4 games for him last year, only threw 2 passes before that first start, and only won 1 game. But in the 2 games that he did lose, threw for over 330 yards. He threw 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, added 3 on the ground, as well as almost 400 yards. However, in that last game, they didn't give him opportunity to just send the Washington football team home. It was. It's the only reason they have the 6th overall pick. Out of all those stats, though, the one that concerns most people, no, 52% completion percentage. It's a difficult thing to overlook. Most quarterbacks that have under 60% completion percentage do not fare well in the NFL. We're going to take a quick break. I do want to remind you quickly before we do, head on over to 2210 University Boulevard. Take a peek in that little store underneath the Crimson Awning. That is Alabama Vintage. Charlie has brought an incredible idea that can bring all manner of fan bases together and enjoy an awesome idea, and that is vintage Alabama gear right there at Alabama Vintage. Whether you need hats, shoes, tees, sweaters, jackets, you name it, they've got it. And not just Alabama Crimson Tide apparel either. I stepped in there and saw some Calvin Johnson jerseys. I saw some other memorabilia. There's a giant Michael Jordan cutout just chilling in the window. It's got a nice Gatorade ad on it as well. incredibly vintage. You got to go in there and you just got to check out all the incredible stuff. You will walk the aisles in there and see something brand new every time you move your eye. I assure you, you will appreciate your time at Alabama Vintage. Go check them out, 2210 University Boulevard. We will be right back right after this for the second hour of Off the Edge. Someone used my account to say great job. So, hold on.
App. The pressure is on. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Quarterback back at the 5, steps up, gets drilled. Yes, sir, he gets mashed. And that is going to be the ball game. Alabama wins the ball game.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the Tide 100.9 app. Now, here is your host of Off the Edge, Jacob Harrison.
Good evening, welcome into Off the Edge. I am Jacob Harrison. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope you're having a nice night. It's cool, it's windy, it's feels good to me though. I'm cold-blooded, I'm in here, got the window open, got the jacket off, feeling good. Having a blast here on Tide 100.9, so thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you are on the live streams, you're a trooper. I encourage you to chat it up with us and ask some questions. Leave your comments. We appreciate all of them. Joe Will had the question, do you think Smitty would be a good fit for Philly, or would you rather see them take Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase? Now, in the process, he asked the question because at the end of the previous hour, we were discussing, would Jalen Hurts be successful in Philadelphia now that Carson Wentz has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts? We've got the poll live on the Twitter account at OffTheEdge109. So far with 38 votes. Go on ahead, hit that follow button. Go vote in this thing. 79% believe that yes, he will be, agreeing with Tommy Paradise, who emphatically said give this kid a chance. And Joe, I think Smitty's not there, first of all. I can't understand why the Miami Dolphins wouldn't want to reunite Smitty and Tua. It just makes too much sense. Unless you're moving on from Tua, why would you not give him a weapon that he's already comfortable with and has already seen great success with, including winning a national championship over the Georgia Bulldogs on one of the most famous plays in Alabama Crimson Tide history. So I think that if you're in that position with the Philadelphia Eagles, you feel confident in giving Jalen Hurts that opportunity that I feel he deserves, you go get Jamar Chase. You go get the guy that can be the number one receiver. Because I feel like if you're getting Jalen Waddle, there's still that air of mystery. Can Jalen Waddle be a number one wide receiver? Slot receivers that are built like Jalen Waddle have not often been number one wide receivers. And you can point to maybe Wes Welker, but he still played a different style of slot. And he also played with a quarterback whose style of play is not what is in vogue now. I think Jalen can win on the outside, but you're more often than not going to get him the ball in the slot. You're going to get the ball to him very quickly and find gadget ways to get him the ball. If you would think about Tyreek Hill, that's who Jalen Waddle has to be worthy of that top 10 selection. Now, he's going to go in the top 10 regardless of whether that happens. That's the projection. That's the crapshoot side of it. Jalen Waddle could go on to have a great career, but if he's never Tyreek Hill, then that kind of tells us, that kind of gives us a gauge of whether or not you should take a guy that high. Can he be a number one wide receiver? I think Jamar Chase, on the other hand, who had a season very, very similar to Devontae Smith's in 2019, could very well be the number one wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles the day he steps foot on their practice field for training camp. I wholeheartedly believe that. Unless they go out and they sign, I don't know, like Juju Smith-Schuster or somebody who is practically a number one wide receiver already in free agency. I don't go get a Kenny Golladay, which, wow, that's a thought. Kenny Golladay with the Eagles, with Jalen Hurts. That would be fun. So, yeah, Joe, I would take Jamar Chase in that situation. But here's the thing. This is why I think that Jalen Hurts can be successful. Now, I'm going to take the other side, too. I'm going to explain why he can't be just as well. But this is why I think he can be. I think he can be successful because he is what the NFL is looking for right now. Every time I peruse Twitter, NFL draft Twitter, that is, I am met with all of the Mac Jones hate. Yes, I'm making this about Mac Jones. No, really. All the things that people complain about Mac Jones not having is what Jalen Hurts has. Oh, he doesn't have the accuracy. Well, which one do you want, guys? Do you want a perfect quarterback because you're not getting one? Trevor Lawrence? Everybody loves Trevor Lawrence. He's not perfect. His accuracy is not as good as Mac Jones's. I know a lot of people don't think that. They don't immediately want to believe that. But it's fact. It is proven fact. Not just from percentages and all, and from the interceptions. You just objectively watch them play football. Trevor Lawrence is not as accurate of a quarterback as Mac Jones. What he does have is a cannon arm. It's not Josh Allen, but it is a very impressive right arm. He's smart with the football, outside of the first 7 games of 2019. And he's athletic. He can escape every situation in the pocket. He can pick up first downs with ease. The only thing that Trevor Lawrence has that Jalen Jalen Hurts does not have is height and long red flowing hair. That's it. Now, is that blasphemous? Is that actually a very dumb thing to say in a situation where Draft Twitter could see you and poke holes in that? Sure. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is somebody that, for all intents and purposes, is better than a lot of guys that are no longer with their team. And here's the news flash for all of Draft Twitter. From 2009 to 2016, no first-round quarterback is with the team that drafted him. None of them. Not a single one. And me and Michael Bronner were talking during the Gary Harris show. There are only 3 quarterbacks from that time period that have a Super Bowl ring. One's Russell Wilson. Or excuse me. No, first-round quarterbacks that have a ring. Excuse me. That is not Russell Wilson. One is Blaine Gabbert. The other is Carson Wentz. And now, all of a sudden, I'm blanking on the third one. What a perfect time, right? But the point still stands. He's a good quarterback. It's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the other one. So you've got one of... I can't believe I forgot Patrick Mahomes' name. Somebody fire me. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Jesus, Jacob. And then 2 guys that are backups. The only reason they have rings is because they were a backup on a team. Now, Carson Wentz, obviously, he was injured. But do the Eagles win that Super Bowl with Carson Wentz? Who knows? He is in Indianapolis now, though. Who knows? But regardless, it's a crapshoot. You have no idea what's going to happen. So why, when you've already got a guy that you felt confident enough to take with the 53rd overall pick, reminder, Howie Rosen and Jeffrey Lurie, they're still the general manager and owner, respectively, of the Philadelphia Eagles. And both of them were around when Jalen Hurts was drafted. This isn't a situation like it is in Houston where the whole thing got blown up and now nobody knows what's going on. Those 2 guys were key fixtures in drafting Jalen Hurts with the 53rd overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. So now you've got the 6th overall pick because the guy that you drafted with the 2nd overall pick 4 years ago couldn't get it done anymore. And you're going to replace the guy that you just got. See how this doesn't logically make sense at all? It would make very, very little sense for the Eagles to decide to do such a thing. Now, why could it possibly not work? Allen Robinson, that would be an interesting one as well, Joe. But I think Allen Robinson wants to go somewhere where he can win a ring, and that's not Philadelphia. That being said, I do understand why Jalen Hurts might not be successful. One of the first games he started, I'm watching Jalen Hurts, and I see a tight end who is clearly his 2nd or 3rd option. Run a drag route, get all the way from the far hash to the opposite sideline, and stop and look at Jalen Hurts for at least 3 seconds, waving his arms and jumping and begging for the ball. And sure enough, he gets it to him. Way late. Gets it to him, though. Accurate pass. Picks up a first down because there's nobody within 20 yards of this guy. And statistically, it goes down as a good play. And from an untrained eye, it goes down as, oh, he made a progression. And he found the open guy. And he handled a clean pocket. He didn't run when the 1st and 2nd guy weren't there. Yada, yada, yada. No. There's still that bit of timing that he has got to get down. He's not always going to have this offensive line that, when healthy, is okay. They're going to have to eventually replace the center. They need a new left tackle, but they've got Lane Johnson, and they've got some pieces at guard that they can feel comfortable about. But that coupled with the fact that, as I mentioned to you, Tommy, 52% completion percentage. That is horrendous. That is awful. Oh, it is. The other rookies did not throw for less than 60%.
Together, you and I will be the
right.
You have to understand the Eagles versus Turkey. There was so much about the franchise that was confusing, and yet that has to be a factor. It's not entirely the reason, but it does factor. It's kind of like how if your leg kind of hurts, when you try to pivot and throw, it's not going to be.
I think another factor that a lot of people tend to forget about is the fact that Zach Ertz was not healthy all year, Dallas Goedert was not healthy all year, and the wide receiving core was absolutely decimated for most of the year. This Fulgham guy comes out of nowhere, and he's the best receiver they've got for 3 games. Greg Ward was a number 1 receiver for most of the season. Like, Jalen Reagor did not pan out. Despite all these injuries, he did not become an option that they could feel comfortable with. And here Jalen Hurts has to step up and clean this thing up and try to take a 3-win team to the playoffs because the rest of the NFC sucks. And he can't get it done because he's got nobody to throw to. And that was something that I felt bad for Carson Wentz for the past 2 seasons, because that's been the situation in Philadelphia for the past 2 years, is that their wide receivers have not stayed healthy. Now, whether or not that's a situation where with trainers or with a wide receiver coach or just the age of the guys, Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, whatever it may be, at some point you've got to be able to fix this and allow Jalen Hurts the opportunity. If his receivers continue to not be healthy, if they don't take a solid number 1 wide receiver, he's going to struggle. And if it comes to fruition after they do, that he still cannot be on target and he cannot surpass 60% completion percentage, he's going to have a problem. And oh, by the way, he's probably going to have to learn a new offense this year. One that will not cater to him on every single snap. And that's going to be difficult for him as well. His new coach, Sirianni, used to be the offensive coordinator in Indianapolis just last year. Yeah, that's ironic. But the last quarterback that he coached was Phillip Rivers. Probably the most unathletic quarterback to ever play this game successfully. And before that was Jacoby Brissett, who is still a pocket passer. A guy that can get out of the pocket and make a few things happen when necessary, but still not Jalen Hurts. So when do we know? Maybe 2 or 3 years from now? Is Jalen Hurts still a quarterback by then? Is he still in Philadelphia by then? That's tough to tell. You know, I encourage everybody to go vote on the poll. But this is probably one of the harder situations in the NFL to determine whether or not it's going to be a thing. Because the GM has been ridiculed for close to 2 decades now. Brand new head coach is a first-time head coach who doesn't necessarily pair up with, at least recently, with what Jalen Hurts does now. A history of injuries at wide receiver. This could be a very difficult go of it for Jalen Hurts. And hey, if you're an Eagles fan, listen, take it from somebody that's in a similar situation with a quarterback. If you suck this year, Sam Howell's there next year. And at least you'll be in play for him. But you cannot just go take another quarterback. You're just going to create more problems for yourself. So we're going to take a break. We'll come right back and dive into some more Alabama Crimson Tide topics, including Najee Harris and what we should expect out of him at the NFL level. I'm Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge. We'll be right back right after this.
It begins before we are even born. It is with us until the day we take our last breath. So when it comes to matters of the heart, it is best to leave it to those who know how to keep that beat going.
Cardiology Consultants has provided West Alabama the highest quality, state-of-the-art cardiovascular services. Dr. William Hill, Jeffrey Anderson and Lewis, Amit Shah, Edward Caraway, and Brad Proctor, all board certified. 205-752-0694.
This is a national healthcare alert from the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline.
If you, a family member, or loved one has diabetes, listen closely. Now, regardless of your age, if you have insurance, you may qualify to receive diabetic testing supplies with little to no out-of-pocket cost. Get free delivery, free information, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers for free. Call the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline now for details. Toll free at this number. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, you could get a meter upgrade. In addition, we'll give you a free pair of diabetic socks as our special gift to you. Regardless of your age, if you suffer with diabetes and have insurance, you may qualify to get free delivery of your supplies.
800-441-0419. 800-441-0419. 800-441-0419. That's 800-441-0419.
Before the action begins, make sure your bets are in. Every hit.
This ball is crushed.
Every point.
Who they give it to? Touchdown!
Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino revolutionizes the fan experience. On your phone, casino kiosk, at the Timeout Lounge. Don't just be a fan. Be a player. Be a winner. Get to Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Inspiration is amazing. It can turn this into this. Put it all together, and you get something special. Vuse is putting it all together with a special price. 99 cents for your Vuse Alto Power Unit. Available in-store and at Vuse.com. Vuse, charge beyond vapor products. Underage sale prohibited. 99 cents plus tax. Pod sold separately. Website restricted to age 21 and over. Tobacco consumers.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota subcompact and compact tractors. Our reliable #1 selling tractors are designed for easy operation and feature all the performance match attachments needed to tackle any job. Right now, get 0 down and 0% for 84 months and save up to $1,700. Plus no payments for 90 days. Now through October 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer. Tuscaloosa Tractor. Don't you buy no ugly tractor. Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa.
Guys, breakfast.
How do you do it?
The kids or everything else?
Hey, are those
new phones? Got 2 truly unlimited lines from Walmart Family Mobile. Tea's ready. With no contract. Pass the toast. Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead.
You are amazing.
And your boss is calling.
Get 2 truly unlimited lines with 30 gigabyte hotspot per line for under $75 a month. Powered by T-Mobile. Walmart Family Mobile. Stay a step ahead. HD video streaming up to 720p. See terms and conditions at myfamilymobile.com. Available at Walmart.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
Welcome back into Off the Edge. I'm Jacob Harrison, your host. I am having a blast here on a cool Friday night. Hope you are as well. Hope you're enjoying the live stream. If you're just tuning in and you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about with a live stream, head on over to Twitter or Facebook at Off the Edge 109 and join the fun there. I strongly encourage you to comment, ask questions, and join the show that way. You can also call in to the show. 205-342-9904 is the phone number to call. If you want to call in, give us your thoughts on Jalen Hurts. Will he succeed with the Philadelphia Eagles? Or maybe you can give me your thoughts on Najee Harris and what to expect out of him in the NFL, because that's what we're going to dive into right now. Now, Najee Harris, I had him go 18th overall to the Miami Dolphins in my mock draft. That is on Tide109.com. I released on Monday. We dove into that a little bit on the debut edition of Off the Edge. Last year, Najee Harris had a stupid season. I mean, just something ridiculous. To have only played in 13 games and rushed for 1,466 yards and 26 touchdowns, plus catch 43 passes for 425 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is something that should seriously be marveled at. Especially when you're talking about a guy that most people expect to run a 4.6 40. The 250 carries last year can be a little bit concerning to NFL teams. The 4.6 40 situation will also be very concerning to NFL teams. And the 26 touchdowns, not something to really marvel at when projecting to the NFL level, simply because guys don't score 20 rushing touchdowns in the NFL anymore. This isn't the LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes era of NFL football that I was introduced to when I was a young ward getting into this sport. It's not the same. And that's fine. But the thing is with Najee Harris is everybody wants to compare him to Derrick Henry. And I get it. He had a ton of carries. He broke all sorts of records at Alabama. In fact, he is the all-time leading rusher, all-time leading rushing touchdown leader, all-time scrimmage yards, and all-time total touchdowns by non-quarterbacks at Alabama. He holds all those records and more. He's a freak. He is 6'3", 230 pounds of NFL freak in the most positive sense. And he's got a lot of tear. It is what it is. 638 carries over 4 seasons. That's a lot. But he at least has the benefit of teams not worrying about that as much because they know what they're getting. They're usually going to get a running back for the season in which, for the contract for which he is drafted. Not as often are teams looking at a second contract with running backs. If you can play yourself into one, that's great. Hey, and I think Najee Harris is the kind of guy that can potentially do that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, with Najee, what concerns me is the speed. And I mean, concerns me as far as him being a first-round running back. I think he'll be successful no matter what round he goes in because he's a damn good football player. But that speed aspect, there's a reason, as much as I don't, as much as I'm not crazy about their content much anymore, there's a reason Pro Football Focus thinks he's the 3rd best running back in the draft, behind Javonte Williams of North Carolina and Travis Etienne of Clemson. And it's because of the speed factor. For all the times Najee Harris would break loose, how often would he legitimately break loose and score a touchdown? See, even Derrick Henry at the NFL level is able to carry that off and bust off those massive runs. But we haven't seen that much from Najee Harris. We've seen the hurdles. We've seen him get out in open space. We've seen him break plenty of tackles. And we've seen him be an incredible playmaker. But that top-end speed is something that is almost a requirement of first-round running backs these days. Look at Ezekiel Elliott and look at Saquon Barkley. They're big, beefy running backs similar to Najee Harris, but both have the breakaway speed to score from anywhere on the field. Now, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I am not saying that Najee Harris will not be successful. I'm not saying that he's going to have a tough time. I'm not saying the teams aren't going to like him. I'm not saying that I think that he'll have a bad or even a tough career. I'm not saying that at all. I think he's going to be incredibly successful, and he is one of 4 Alabama players that I would be perfectly fine with the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting at number 24. And even if I don't think he should be a first-round pick because of the speed factor, I wouldn't be shocked if somebody saw this kid, this grown-ass man, if they saw him at late in the first round and said, okay, we see all the leadership capabilities, everything he did as a senior at Alabama, whether it was from the marching to just being an overall leader through the pandemic to what he did on the field to help lead this team to victory, time after time carrying the football and toting the rock and being protective of it and advancing it down the field. If a team sees all that and they say that's a first-round guy and we need a running back, he's our guy. He's going to lead us for the next 4 or 5 years. And if he gives us more, that's great. If not, that's what we're investing in right now. And that's the best thing about being a first-round running back that isn't a top 10 pick. Because say what you will about Saquon Barkley and say what you will about Ezekiel Elliott, they've got it rough right now. Neither one's been to the playoffs. Now I know Saquon has only been in the league 2 years. He's been injured for an entire one of those. The Giants are not going to the playoffs anytime soon. Sorry, Benedetto. It's not happening. Team's not great. And the reason why is because they drafted Saquon Barkley. Now, I know that's difficult. Good players, great players make great plays. Great players lead to winning. And that's all well and good. But the way the NFL is structured now, and you can look back on Tide 109, I broke down how the situation handles. Adrian Peterson never won a playoff game. 7th overall pick. Minnesota Vikings were pretty good under his run. He won an MVP, ran for over 2,000 yards in a season. Never won a playoff game. Not one. The only running back to lead the league in rushing and win a playoff game since the LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holm era of NFL football back before 2005 is Derrick Henry. He's the only one to do it. Every other running back that has been drafted that high has not been successful in terms of team success. Yeah, they're running for a gazillion yards and they're burning their bodies out, but by the time the team is successful, they're burnt out themselves and they cannot be successful. Leonard Fournette was the other one, actually. Yeah, technically he counts, even though he ran for like 300 yards. But by the time those guys, the teams around them are built, the team itself is not successful. Now, yes, Ezekiel Elliott was on a relatively successful Cowboys team there for a short while. The team had a stupid offensive line in front of him. Probably would have won some playoff games had Tony Romo not had to retire and Dak Prescott not been the quarterback. I mean, it's not a knock on Dak, it's reality. So when it comes to Najee, that's the benefit of being a guy that's a fringe first rounder. Like, yeah, you can take that cocky and say, oh, you know, they thought I was only a 25th overall pick, so I'm going to wear 25 in the NFL, and I'm going to prove them all wrong. That's great. Go do that if that's your thing. But you're going to a better football team in those 20s. You're going to a better football team in the 30s and in the second round. You can feel better about yourself from a team aspect. And what did Derrick Henry tell Barstool Sports he got paid in? He got paid in rings and all these other sort of things, right? That would be the same thing with Najee. Yeah, that first paycheck is not going to be as great as Max. It's not. It's not going to be as great as Devontae's and Jalen because they got drafted way higher than you, and they put in just as much to that Alabama Crimson Tide team as Najee did. But at the end of the day, he'll go to a more successful team and see more success himself. And at the end of the day, that's a positive. What do Alabama fans want to see out of the alumni? They want to see him go to Super Bowls and win Super Bowls. This year actually broke a 16-year streak of Alabama Crimson Tide players playing in the Super Bowl, or at least being active, because O.J. Howard was hurt. So technically, I mean, O.J.'s getting a ring, don't get me wrong, but technically, the Super Bowl was void of an Alabama Crimson Tide player this year. Now, a lot of that has to do with the Washington football team hoarding a lot of them on defense. But at the end of the day, these guys that we all love and we all reminisce throughout the Nick Saban era, they're not winning Super Bowls. And it's a shame. And it's because a lot of them go to situations where the team is floundering and they're not great. And that's understandable. That's all well and good. A lot of times, you look at Julio Jones, they're the reason a team is able to turn things around and become a contender. That doesn't last forever. Just ask Tommy Paradise. But overall, I think this is a good thing for Najee to be where he's at. If he goes out and he runs a 4.5 and he becomes a first-round pick, more power to him. If he goes out and he runs a 4.6 and he stays at that fringe, late first, early second, it's all going to work out for the guy. Because I think no matter the situation, he is going to be a great running back. But you have to be able to be willing to pair yourself with being a great running back on a great team so that with the limited amount of time you can be in the NFL as a running back, you're able to benefit from it. We're going to come right back. We will take a break and come back and dive into this some more. We're open to your phone calls. 205-342-9904 is the number to call. You can also comment, leave questions in the chat, whichever stream you're on, whether it is on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. I can see them all. Got this brand new program that I think is really, really cool. So if you're there, first of all, like and share the stream that you are watching. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Leave a comment, and we'll jump into it. 205-342-9904 is the phone number to call. Give your opinion. Jalen Hurts, Najee Harris. How dumb is the NCAA? Whatever we've conversed about today, or whatever you have on your mind, we're open to it all. Right here on Off the Edge on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Everybody loves Taco Casa. Everything we do in our store, we prepare in our store. We hand cut all of our tomatoes. We block and shred our own cheese here in the store. So we still hand cut our chips, our sopapillas, our taco shells, our chimalupa bowls. Our chili takes about 4 to 6 hours to make every single day. The goal in that is to provide the freshest, best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa. I'm the biggest cactus in town.
Before the action begins, make sure your bets are in. Every hit. This ball is crushed. Every point. Who they give it to? Touchdown! Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino revolutionizes the fan experience. On your phone, casino kiosk, at the Timeout Lounge. Don't just be a fan. Be a player. Be a winner. Get to Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
Let Spa Bella V pamper you with the ultimate spa experience combined with exceptional relaxation, complete privacy, and comfortable luxury. Their spa services rejuvenate and reveal your inner glow, including facials, massages, waxing, peels, scrubs, and wraps, nails, hair, and makeup. Call 349-0046 to book your appointment for your ultimate spa experience at Spa Bella V. Locally owned by board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Ross Bunch in the Falls at North River. Online at SpaBellaV.com.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV. Make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
Crimson Tide fans, keep your family safe and healthy with the help of the healthcare professionals at Allegra Family Clinic in Northport. They specialize in urgent and primary care, COVID testing, IV hydration, Botox and fillers, weight loss, testosterone, new aesthetic laser procedures, and other health issues your family may have. Allegra Family Clinic and Urgent Care, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 in the morning to 7 in the evening, and Saturday 9 to 1. Located at the corner of Mitt-Larry Road and Highway 69 North in Northport.
David DeSantis here from the all-new Benton Nissan of Bessemer, and I want to invite you to shop with us before you make your next new or used vehicle purchase. It's just so easy to get all the info you need at www.bentonnissanofbessemer.com. Every new or used vehicle we sell comes with our lifetime warranty, something you can't get just anywhere. So do yourself a big favor before you sign on that line. Visit us online or in our showroom or give us a call. The all-new Benton Nissan of Bessemer. Come on in. Let us show you what it's all about.
Before you roll in to watch the Tide, roll into Mary's Travel Center just off I-59 to exit 86 in Brookwood. They have all the snacks, cold beverages, and ice you need for tailgating. If you're hungry, step next door to Subway or to the Huddle House and eat before or after the game. Before you leave for the game, be sure and fill your tank with Marathon Gas. Mary's Travel Center just off I-59 to exit 86 in Brookwood. Locally owned by the Gibson family. Mary's Travel Center says roll Tide.
We aren't going anywhere. Off the Edge is available in the podcast center on Tide100.9.com.
Good evening, welcome back into Off the Edge. I am Jacob Harrison, your host. It's been a fun evening here on Tide 100.9. I'm so glad that you're joining us on the stream. If you are not, if you're listening in a car, I encourage you. Times you're not in the car, you want to enjoy the show. Facebook and Twitter at Off the Edge 109, and also on YouTube. Off the Edge is a great place to subscribe and take in that extra content, the 8 to 10 minute segments, the best segments from each show getting uploaded to YouTube every single day. Didn't miss an upload all week. I was kind of worried. Like, am I going to be able to say this? Am I going to be able to be the guy that says every single day, new content up on the YouTube channel? Hit subscribe while you're there. Like the videos when you see them. And let's get this thing building, rocking, and rolling. We've been through a lot of content tonight. We've called the NCAA dumb. We've pondered over what the Alabama basketball team can do to close out this season and why it's such a bad thing that the senior night didn't happen sooner. Nonetheless, excited that it is finally happening. We have the poll up on the Twitter account at OffTheEdge109. Is Jalen Hurts going to be successful in Philadelphia now that Carson Wentz has headed over to Indianapolis in a trade? One of the first blockbuster trades that we have seen in the NFL offseason, this one concerning an Alabama Crimson Tide player. And we've also discussed why Najee Harris could or could not be successful in the NFL just the same. So I open the floor to you on Facebook and Twitter. You can leave the comments on YouTube as well. Leave the comments, ask questions. I will answer those as they come in. You can also call into the show, 205-342-9904. That's the number to call to join the show. Be more than happy to discuss anything you have on your mind or that we have discussed here tonight. Joe Will asked if Travis Etienne gets drafted before Najee, would I be shocked? And not at all. Actually, I intended in my mock draft on Monday to have Travis Etienne go before Najee Harris. However, when I got to 18, I noticed that with the Miami Dolphins, they have Matt Breida. At least technically, Matt Breida might be a free agency loss for them. But Matt Breida is also one of the fastest, if not the fastest, running backs in the NFL. A lot of people don't know that because he played at San Francisco when they weren't very good. Now he plays for the Dolphins, who are not very good. And he was also injured for most of his time there this season. But that speed of Matt Breida kind of helps counterbalance what you're missing in Najee Harris, who can already be a big play guy. But if Najee's wearing down teams with his brute force and his ability to carve up the middle, then that allows things to open up with Matt Breida on the outside. Little lightning and thunder action, a la Chris Johnson, and I had it right before I was going to say it. Lendell White of the Tennessee Titans back in the day. So that's kind of something that I thought about, and that's why I didn't go with Travis Etienne there. But the thing I love about Travis Etienne is he has everything Najee Harris has with a more compact frame, plus the speed to boot. Travis Etienne can be just as physical as Najee Harris. Travis Etienne can catch out of the backfield, he can block out of the backfield, and he can also break the long runs for touchdowns. And that's something that is a concern. Can Najee Harris do it? Because we didn't see him do it that often at Alabama. Even with the whole old argument, how are Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa ever going to succeed in the NFL because they had so much talent around them in college? The same old dumb argument that they always get. 205-342-9904 is the phone number to call if you want to jump in and discuss any of these topics. Did you guys see that Trent Richardson is back in professional football?
Yeah, that's pretty neat, honestly.
It's the Mexican American Football League, or FAL in Spanish, Football American League, of course. It's not determined yet whether or not Trent is going to be a player or not, though. So he is back. He has the jersey, the number 3, the name screen printed on the back of the uniform. The Caudillos de Chihuahua, I am assuming, is how the team name is pronounced. Apparently the team is in Chihuahua, Mexico, and the name of the team is the Caudillos. So my joke about the fighting Trent Richardsons with the Chihuahua did not work. I like to give it a try. I was one of the only ones around here willing to say DJ Uiagalelei correctly. Yeah, there you go. I'm
Bonisa Collins. I win.
I never said I was good at spelling. But Trent Richardson, he says, and this is courtesy of Mason Woods, who posted the story on Tide109.com. I encourage you to go to give that a read. Over on the old website, we'll have to let you know, Richardson said. Breaking news will come out soon. We've talked about everything in our meetings and that we have been having, so who knows? I might play, I might be a part of making decisions or helping out bringing awareness, or I might be part of D, all of the above, so we'll see. So it doesn't, who knows? Is he going to be a coach? Is he going to be a manager of some kind? Is he going to play? Is he going to do all three? Is he going to be old Papa Bear Hallis? Do all three? You think Trent Richardson could do all three in Mexico?
I think he could, honestly, because he has that background from Alabama and he learned from Saban.
He's been out for a while. He coaches his son's football teams.
Yeah, he's got talent.
Yeah, so he's got the experience coaching. It's been a minute since he's been out of football. He bounced around in the NFL. Nobody saw his career going the way it did. Nobody. And anybody that looks back and says, "Oh, well, Jim Brown said yada yada about Trent," nobody saw that coming. And it was a shame. He kept trudging along, played for Saskatchewan in the CFL for a short while. The Birmingham Iron was one of the most fun things ever. In 8 games, Tommy, do you remember how many touchdowns Trent Richardson had in 8 games in the American Football Alliance?
Above 20?
No, it wasn't that much. It was 11. He scored 11 touchdowns in 3 AFA games.
We bring back the Iron.
They were awesome. I feel like The Rock and the XFL have got to make that a thing. Everybody in Birmingham and the Tuscaloosa area, even out there in Auburn where they just have no common sense, everybody loved the Birmingham Iron.
I'm telling you, we can make the video, you can rock bottom me. I'm telling you, I think we got something here. We're both wrestling fans.
Let's do
We
it.
have an idea.
Let's do it.
Ludman can be the best.
We'll get Ludman to do a moonsault off the canopy. Right here.
Yes.
Him and his CrossFit, I'm sure he'll learn how to do it eventually. Everybody loved the Birmingham Iron. Everybody loves Trent Richardson. His NFL career didn't go the way it should have. And everybody knows that. But everybody loves Trent Richardson. I think he's going to do great things in Mexico regardless. Because he did great things everywhere he went after he got out of the NFL too. He's been hanging around with the Jay Barker Show. He's one of the better commodities on that show. So I think that overall, I'm excited to see where Trent goes in his career, whether that's in coaching or in management, or if he's playing in Mexico. I'm not sure how we would be able to see these games or if we just have to catch stuff on YouTube, but nonetheless, I would be excited to see Trent Richardson in whatever his next ventures are with the Mexican American Football League. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and begin to close things down for the final segment as we get ready to close down your work week here on Tide 100.9. My name is Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge, coming to you live on Tide 100.9 on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as that free Tide 109 app right here. We'll be right back.
Everybody loves Taco Casa. Everything we do in our store, we prepare in our store. We hand cut all of our tomatoes. We block and shred our own cheese here in the store. So we still hand cut our chips, our sopapillas, our taco shells, our chimalupa bowls. Our chili takes about 4 to 6 hours to make every single day. The goal in that is to provide the freshest, best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
Let Spa Bella V pamper you with the ultimate spa experience combined with exceptional relaxation, complete privacy, and comfortable luxury. Their spa services rejuvenate and reveal your inner glow, including facials, massages, waxing, peels, scrubs, and wraps, nails, hair, and makeup. Call 349-0046 to book your appointment for your ultimate spa experience at Spa Bella V. Locally owned by board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Ross Bunch in the Falls at North River. Online at SpaBellaV.com.
David DeSantis here from the all-new Benton Nissan of Bessemer, and I want to invite you to shop with us before you make your next new or used vehicle purchase. It's just so easy to get all the info you need at www.bentonnissanofbessemer.com. Every new or used vehicle we sell comes with our lifetime warranty, something you can't get just anywhere. So do yourself a big favor. Before you sign on that line, visit us online or in our showroom or give us a call. The all-new Benton Nissan of Bessemer, come on in. Let us show you what it's all about.
Crimson Tide fans, keep your family safe and healthy with the help of the healthcare professionals at Allegra Family Clinic in Northport. They specialize in urgent and primary care, COVID testing, IV hydration, Botox and fillers, weight loss, testosterone, new aesthetic laser procedures, and other health issues your family may have. Allegra Family Clinic in Urgent Care, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 in the morning to 7 in the evening, and Saturday 9 to 1. Located at the corner of Mittlery Road and Highway 69 North in Northport.
Before you roll in to watch the Tide, roll into Mary's Travel Center just off I-59 to exit 86 in Brookwood. They have all the snacks, cold beverages, and ice you need for tailgating. If you're hungry, step next door to Subway or to the Huddle House and eat before or after the game. Before you leave for the game, be sure and fill your tank with Marathon Gas. Mary's Travel Center, just off I-59 at exit 86 in Brookwood. Locally owned by the Gibson family. Mary's Travel Center says, roll Tide.
Tide 100.9, Tuscaloosa weather.
Another cold night tonight. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low 23. And for the weekend, a warming trend. Sunny tomorrow, the high 55. Sunday, partially sunny with a high at 65. Monday, cloudy with a chance of showers during the morning hours, the high at 60. I'm James Spain on the ADC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Hello there, welcome back into Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison. We've been having a blast with you on this cool, windy Friday night. Gotten into a lot of discussion here tonight. I want to give you two quick reminders. First of all, it's Alabama Vintage right there on 2210 University Boulevard. Under the Crimson Awning, Charlie has got an assortment of items that you, as an Alabama Crimson fan, regardless of your age, regardless of how long you've been a Crimson Tide fan, you will love this store. Vintage items all over the place in every style that you can imagine, whether you need a hat, excuse me, a hat, a pair of shoes, a new jersey, t-shirts from old time games, you know, the old Iron Bowl t-shirts. He's got a ton of them, man. And you can go check out all of his great content and products right there on 2210 University Boulevard. Go give him a look through. Go find something you want to take home for yourself and let them know that Off the Edge sent you there. Second thing is, we need to get 250 followers quick on Off the Edge 109 on Twitter. And the reason why, and if you go to Off the Edge 109 on Twitter, you'll see a preview of what can be on Twitch. We can stream a college football NCAA 14 revamped mod with the 2020 version of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Start a new dynasty, run through it, do all the recruiting. We've even got a 2021 recruiting class. We can go get Tommy Brockermeyer, James Brockermeyer, J.C. Latham, the whole crew. We can even turn fate and make sure that Tui Maloa comes to Alabama instead of Ohio State or Washington or wherever else he decides to go. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. And then in year two, but if we can get to year two before the 2021 season starts, we can get a preview of what Bryce Young will look like in a Crimson Tide uniform, as well as what that entire offense will look like, and that incredible defense that is coming back, which is something that we will definitely talk about next week. So, in total, 250 follows is all we need on Twitter to start that Twitch account upright and get this streaming NCAA 14 the college football revamped mod. I think that's something that we're all going to enjoy. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock is Alabama versus Vanderbilt. And I think this is a massively important game, again, for the Crimson Tide. This is one of those games where you're a 2 seed, everybody's propping you up, and it's the same kind of situation the Crimson Tide were in before the Oklahoma game. And a lot of people, myself included, going into the Oklahoma game for the Big 12 Challenge, felt like maybe that was a game they could drop. But then the Missouri game happened, and that was not expected at all. There cannot be another situation like that, I don't think. It's not necessarily one of those situations where it can completely derail the season, but you want to prove right here and now, close out the season with these 4 wins. And if Texas A&M gets rescheduled, 5 wins. Go out there and prove that you are a number 2 seed. And that anybody that doubts you should not, basically. This is a team that can go to the Elite 8. This is a team that can go to Final 4. This is a team that can go cut down the nets. I've said it before. And yeah, that's over-eager. That's fanboyism a little bit. And I understand that. I get that. But no, I wouldn't say nobody, but there were a lot of people outside of the Alabama Crimson Tide program that didn't think that Nick Saban would come into Alabama and within 3 years win a national championship. And in year 2, that team probably could have won a national championship as well had Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators not just had a little bit more in them in that SEC championship. So what's to stop Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide from doing it this time around? He's got the players. They've got to get healthy. Bruner's got to come back. Gary's got to come back. Herb Jones has got to get healthy. And that's something that a lot of people were concerned about is, okay, well, we're sending Herb Jones out to play in this Georgia game, and that game doesn't matter. And, you can beat them by 30 anyway. They ended up beating them by 30 with Herb Jones. Herb Jones put up 21 points in that game, so you don't necessarily win by 30 without him. But Nate Oates knows what he's doing. And I said it on Monday, this is a guy that understands how to get the most out of his team. And that's the important part, is we're just 4 games away from closing out this regular season of the SEC. And this team's about to win the regular season SEC championship with just 2 more wins out of 4 attempts. And they can likely win all 4 of those games. They'll be a number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. Likely run roughshod over that yet again. And then head to the NCAA tournament as likely a number 1 or number 2 seed. And you've got to feel confident about their chances when it comes down to that. Because you win a game like this against Vanderbilt, then that allows you to build some confidence heading into the tournament, because you at least you face a team that's not on your level. And a team that goes into the NCAA tournament to face Alabama, yeah, they've earned their way into the tournament, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to be a team that should beat Alabama. And that's where you have that confidence factor where if you lose to a team like Vanderbilt, it can be difficult to get up for that first round game and feel confident about yourself. Say, oh man, we lost to Vanderbilt. We lost to this team that that we shouldn't have lost to. But instead you can wake up on that day and say, well, we beat the hell out of Vanderbilt, we beat the hell out of Arkansas, Mississippi State, Auburn. We're ready to go. We just won the SEC tournament, or we finished 2nd or 3rd in the SEC tournament. Let's go cut down the nets. Let's go have a great season. And then however far you get, this fan base is going to be proud of the Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team regardless of what they do. And that's the most impressive fact. I said it last Monday as well. The best part about the Alabama basketball team this year is, despite the situation in Coleman Coliseum not having enough fans in it, I feel like you could definitely have filled it up more. And even now with the senior night thing just being too late, it could have happened more than once. You could have done it for every classification. You could have done it for grad students too. You could have created a situation where more people could have seen this basketball team perform the way it did and gotten even a bit more help at home. Because we've seen it time and time again with these other programs where that little bit extra at home from the fans being on their feet, being loud, and being participants, that mattered. So overall, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm going to tune in tomorrow at noon and see what this basketball team can do. As always, go check out those streams. Like us on Facebook and Twitter, at Off the Edge 109.